Do you know that I pray every night that he would escape?
What the hell do you do that for?
So I can kill him.
Well, that was a dumb thing to pray for.
Hello my fellow horror whores, welcome to Me, Myself and a Movie, where horror is happiness. And today I'm going to be continuing my Halloween review series with a review of Halloween 2018. Now, I'm going to be reviewing these movies by their timelines and not chronologically, and the reason for that is because Halloween 2018 and Halloween Kills are still being discussed and are fresh in our minds, and of course we are still in this current timeline leading up to the release of Halloween Ends, so it makes more sense to me to talk about these movies first. Then I'll be doing a full circle back to Halloween 2 and then reviewing the Thorn trilogy, the Rob Zombie universe, Halloween H2O, Resurrection, Halloween 3. So all of the movies in this franchise will be reviewed on this channel in the coming weeks, guys. With that being said, let's dive into Halloween 2018. It's been 40 years since Laurie Strode survived a vicious attack from crazed killer Michael Myers on Halloween night. Locked up in an institution, Myers manages to escape when his bus transfer goes horribly wrong. Laurie now faces a terrifying showdown when the masked madman returns to Haddonfield, but this time, she's ready for him. I have to say, when I first heard that they was getting rid of the sibling tie in the lead up to the release of Halloween 2018, I was overjoyed. I've never been a big fan of the sibling motive. I don't hate it, but I just prefer Michael when he is motiveless. I have to start this review with talking about Michael himself and James Jude Courtney's performance as the Shape. He's just incredible. From the look to the portrayal, he just gets it so right. Every movement is damn close to identical to Nick Castle's portrayal. It genuinely feels like the same Michael but 40 years older. The walk, the head tilt, every movement is just bang on point. I believe James Jude Courtney actually did his homework when he got the role and studied Nick Castle's portrayal in the 1978 original, and it really does show in his performance. He is one of, if not the best versions of Michael we've ever had, and when I come to do a ranking, I'm going to find it really difficult who to put at the top spot because there are two other contenders for that. The updated score from the main man himself, John Carpenter, is an utter masterpiece. I actually prefer this to the original. It is easily my favourite score in the franchise, and how amazing has it been to see John Carpenter back? I really enjoyed the opening scene of this movie and briefly seeing Michael as a patient at Smith's Grove. It was interesting to see. I liked how Sartain spoke about Loomis. Even in the movies that Donald Pleasence is absent from, I still feel his presence and the legacy he left behind. I also liked how Sartain touched on how Michael has had over 50 psychiatrists who all have different opinions on Michael. No one can truly figure out Michael and why he is the way he is, and I always want it to remain that way personally. Jamie Lee Curtis returns once again to reprise her role as Laurie Strode and delivers a stellar performance, as always. I really like the version of Laurie that we get here. The movie really focuses on trauma and how even decades after a terrifying event, you can still live with that trauma years later. It's put strain on her relationship with her family and taken over her entire existence pretty much. It is very much Laurie's obsession in 2018 and not Michael's. Michael couldn't care less, he couldn't give a toss. But Laurie is taking no shit in this movie. She's ready to come face to face with the Shape once again, and when she does, what a kick-ass final act that we get. The final act of this movie is badass. I love it. The tension when Laurie is searching for Michael in the house and we know he's there somewhere. He's about to pop up but we don't know where he is. It's just amazing. I love that sequence. The kills are great in this movie, some of which are my favourite in the entire franchise. The only kill that I don't like is poor Lumpy. Little Lumpy. All he wanted to do is dance. Hashtag justice for Lumpy. I'm just kidding, guys. I don't give a shit who he kills. Anyway, it is that random motiveless killing that I absolutely love about Michael in 2018. The sequence when he bashes the woman's head in with a hammer and then comes out onto the street, he's looking around, then he goes next door, he slams that bitch's head on the windowsill, stabs a knife through her neck. It's just awesome. That is the Michael that I like to see. Totally random, no rhyme or reason. He is just heading home and will kill anyone in his way. I absolutely love the introduction that we get to Alison, played by the incredible Andy Matichek. I like the journey that she goes on throughout the movie. To begin with, she thinks her grandmother is crazy and needs to get over it, but then she soon comes face to face with Michael herself and realises, oh shit, my gran isn't insane, she's right, he's back. As for the other characters, the ones I did like very much so were Vicky and Dave and Oscar. Despite Oscar having some super corny lines of dialogue, I still grew to like him. His death scene is incredible, the motion sensor sequence is sick. When Michael is chasing him towards the gate, it really ups that tension, and that whole scene is just so intense. I found Vicky and Dave really sweet, and I found myself really rooting for them in the movie, hoping that they wouldn't die, but of course they did, and because of how much I loved the characters, it was effective to kill them. That is good writing. Making you love a character and then killing them is going to make you feel some type of way. One of my favourite things about this movie is all of the callbacks that we get to the original. To name a couple, the scene where Laurie is outside of the school and Alison sees her through the window, the fight scene with Michael and Laurie where he throws her off the balcony and then she disappears, is genius to me. Gigantic fan service, and I absolutely live for it. Now to talk about one of the things that is probably going to get me some shit. But please bear in mind though guys, it would be incredibly boring if we all liked the same things, wouldn't it? So I am in the very small camp of people who actually liked Dr. Sartain. The idea of a doctor being obsessed with his patient, so much so that he wants to release him back into society and study that evil, it's just a fascinating concept to me. Loomis was always trying to contain the evil and to protect everybody, whereas Sartain wants to unleash it. I love the whole concept. Was it executed to its fullest potential? No. Did I like him putting on the mask? Absolutely fucking not. It shouldn't have even been in the movie. But I do like the character and the concept that they were going for. I have seen people call him a pointless character, a character with no purpose who just got killed, an unconsequential character, and here's the thing guys, I'm fine with difference of opinion. I love it in fact. It is what keeps it interesting and fun for me, hearing what people like and don't like. But to say Sartain was a pointless character and inconsequential to the movie is just flat out not true. He is a very consequential character. If I wanted to be really petty, I could argue that the events of the last two movies only happened because of him. So getting into what I didn't like, for me, Karen and Ray was one of the biggest issues I had with this movie. Ray's forced, bizarre, poor attempts at humour just fell flat on their arse every single time. One of the first lines of dialogue we get out of this guy's mouth is that he dropped peanut butter on his penis. I mean, come on. And that is the tone they set for this character throughout his entire screen time in the movie. I mean, literally every single word out of his mouth is a piss poor attempt at humour, and it's just plain irritating after the first couple of times. And then there is Karen, played by Judy Greer. Now I will say my opinion is totally different on her in Halloween Kills, so you'll have to stick around to hear that. But as for 2018, she's just a very poor character for me. I don't think she is all that of a good actress, unfortunately. The way she delivers her lines is almost like she's reading off a script, especially the monologue and the flashback to her childhood. It literally sounds like she's reading it off a piece of paper. As for Cameron, I don't really have much to say on the character other than I thought he was a massive douchebag. And then unfortunately the forced humour does continue. It gets shoved in your face so many times throughout this movie. We get Julian, who I do actually find funny at first, but then they drag it out, even adding it into Vicky's death scene, which should have been full of tension. But because that humour is still there with Julian, it just diminishes any tension for me. It's hard to know if I should be laughing at Julian or feeling terror for Vicky. It's just so misplaced. Humour is absolutely fine in horror movies. I like it, it's okay, but at the right time, and a death scene just isn't the right time. It's the same with the Banh Mi Sandwich Cops. It's just ridiculous and not funny at all. It's just so unnecessary and misplaced. But overall, guys, despite my negatives, this is one of my favourite Halloween movies and horror movies in general. It's one of my go-to comfort movies. I think perhaps because I was faced with difficult times in my personal life back in 2018, I found comfort from the escapism this movie provided for me. I do have a lot of love for this movie. With that being said, I'm going to score this a 3.7 out of 5. If it wasn't for the misplaced humour and some questionable acting and irritating characters, I would have scored it much higher. That's it for today, guys. There you have it, my Halloween 2018 review. Do let me know your thoughts in the comments down below or tweet me, let's get the conversation going. If Halloween is your thing, then do hit that subscribe button, as it will be nothing but Halloween content leading up to the release of Halloween Ends. Be sure to come back on Friday where I'll be reviewing Halloween Kills. Thank you so much for watching. This has been me, myself and a movie, where horror is happiness.